Good afternoon. My name is Chris Gibson. I come from New York City. I'm a school librarian in the Bronx. I understand that diversity is just diversity. It's a guarantee that wherever we go, we will encounter diversity, and that pluralism is the positive outcome of what we do with the diversity. My question is a very practical question. What do you and your family do what kind of challenges do you and your family face every day in everyday life in a clearly diverse society that we have, especially with our misunderstandings of Islam?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a very good question you have asked, and thank you for that question. First of all, you said you are from New York, so I have two very important memories for New York. I was in New York, and I was given an opportunity to stand at ground zero, which you must never have done it. I stood there to talk about Islam, mashallah. And the other one is, I still remember the New York library stairs, where I could watch some people doing some gymnastics there. So it was wonderful watching them there. And coming to your question, sister has asked the question that as Muslims, today we feel there are different threats. Myself, how do I take those threats, or what are the threats I feel? And being in a pluralistic society, there will always be a practical part of the life that you have oppositions, you have relative understandings, you have people who may agree or disagree with you. In those circumstances, what are my threats? To be very honest to you, sister, because I keep reading the Quran very constantly, what I get is a motivation of my belief and my faith in the Quran. So my faith and my belief in the Quran, it says in Surah Al Imran, Surah number 3, Allah says, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. I have full trust in the God, and He is the best to protect me. And that trust is so wide in my heart, I absolutely feel threat from nowhere. You know, I tell a lot of people, you came to India, you were sponsored by the US. You know, the same US government, it gifted me a US visa. At a time when it's very difficult for the Muslims to get a US visa, this is all from Allah. I thank Allah first that He made the hearts of the Americans open to give me a visa. That visa helped me to go to the American army at the Fort Knox, and believe me, Fort Knox is the last training camp from where they fly to Iraq and Afghanistan. In the words of the common Muslims, they fly to Iraq and Afghanistan to kill the Muslims. And I went to their base to talk about Allah, talk about Quran, to talk about jihad. And that discussion took place for about more than 3.5 hours. And at the end of the discussion, the soldiers come to me and they say, we want your autograph. How did it happen? I started conveying this message. The threat to me is, I feel if I don't convey this message, it's the biggest threat to me. I keep conveying this message. I make friends like all of you. I make friends everywhere I go who will defend me if anybody does wrong to me, and this will be from the God. Allah says in Surah Ma'idah, Surah number 5, ayat number 67. It's an easy reference for all of you to remember. You must be wondering how we verbatim quote. So this is very easy. I'll give you a technique in this you can remember. Surah Ma'idah is Surah number 5th of the Quran. 5th Surah, you have 5 fingers in general on the hand. 5th Surah. Numerically, 6 comes after 5 and 7 comes after 6. 5th Surah, ayat number 67. You see, numerically is 5, 6, 7 together. Allah says, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, O you Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Do the propagation of what has been revealed to you. Convey the message that has been revealed to you. Fa illam taf'al, O Messenger, if you do not do this, fa illam taf'al, if you do not do this, wama ballaghta risala, then you have not fulfilled your messengerhood. And if you fear somebody as a threat against you, the God will protect you against them. That is my belief, sister. As a family, believe me, sister, I am telling you by God, I have no threat from anybody. For me, I would love to speak to anybody. I tell the people, if there is a terrorist, give me an opportunity to talk to him. If he is a Muslim terrorist, I would not mind speaking to him, to communicate to him what is right through the Quran and what is right through the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If there is a Christian terrorist, let me speak to him. If there is a Jewish terrorist, see, I love. I'm just waiting for an opportunity. I don't know when Allah will open that opportunity. I want to speak to my Jewish brothers. I want them to share a platform with me. Let them communicate. Why this paranoia and the phobia wherein you get isolated from me, I get isolated from you? When I was in Chicago, I was wondering, in Chicago at the Devon, where the Muslim lane ends, the Jewish lane begins there. And in 2004, when I was the US State Department guest sister, I was in Chicago in that Devon Street, and I was sitting in a Baskin Robbins. I have a craze for Baskin Robbins. So I was sitting there, and we had a Jewish guy who came in with his friends from the synagogue. He walked inside. And I had my friends, he was wearing his traditional dress, that hat, that black coat and everything. I told my friend, his name was Moses, and one of them was Jamil. I said, oh, I want to speak to this brother. He said, no, please don't do that. I said, why? No, if you do that and if he feels offensive, he will give a police complaint. He will call the police. So I said, no problem. I have a letter with me. State Department, even the police will respect me now. So now, what's wrong? I want to speak to him. I said, Moses, your name is Moses. You should be the best person to speak to him. But he was not very open to this. But finally, I went to him. I said, I'm Imran. I'm from India, and I'm a Muslim. So what? So I said, brother, I want to speak to you. I don't want to speak to you. I don't know you. I said, no, you see, I'm an Indian and a Muslim. I want to speak to you. You are my cousin. You are a Jew. You are my cousin. No, I'm not your cousin. I said, man, I'm not going to speak to you about Israel and Palestine. Let's discuss something from the Bible about Moses, about Jesus, about Muhammad. I don't want to do that. I said, why? I don't know who you are. Why are you bothering me? I said, I'm not bothering you. But not speaking to you, I am getting bothered. Let's speak. And finally the discussion starts. And believe me, sister, it takes place for more than 1.5 hours. It's video recorded. 1.5 hours comfortably speaks. A lot of discussion happens. Then I told him, you see, this is all a problem because we don't communicate with each other. When we start communicating, maybe when you came to IREF here, you came with a lot of misconceptions or prejudices. You know what will happen when we walk in. We don't know whether they are going to plant a bomb and blast us all. We don't know what they are going to do now. Oh, will they wear a turban like an Afghanistani Taliban, or what? Will they be Al-Qaeda members? Nothing of that sort. You are good people, we are good people. Let's sit together, let's speak. Agreements, disagreements, they remain with every human being. No two human beings together can live forever 100% in agreement. Agreements, disagreements remain. But let's speak about those agreements and disagreements. Unless this becomes a process, sister, you will find me a threat, I will find you a threat. Let's communicate with each other, inshallah. I hope I answered your question, sister.